the marijuana and all that stuff, you can't, we opted
As
out
town
for
supervisor,
now.
the thing is a rowing. No,
Well,
that, they
then
have
that's-
that too.
Then they could do that.
Okay.
So if
Well, I
you
guess
look at all
I would say
the
that.
vehicles they're getting rid of, they all had flood damage. What the hell did they get so much flood damage?
But they do drive it down the last storm.
Everyone, flood damage,
I-
they all have flood damage. Maybe they get more.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not gonna ask that question.
I don't know if Dennis is gonna go
I don't wanna know the
to the
answer.
Memorial Day thing and any of the
We
Memorial Day
assume.
things. I'm away. Yeah, I'm at the beach too. I said I'm going. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Town of Orangetown Town Board meeting of May 24th, 2022. And can we get the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Okay, jumps with you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Town Clerk?
Councilman Tom Divany. Here. Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari. Here. Councilman Brian Donahue.
Present.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. Okay, we have a couple of announcements. The first one is the Town of Orangetown Draft Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. The MS4 Annual Report will be available for review on the town's website. The 2022 Orangetown Memorial Day events, we have a whole list of them, are all available on our, at orangetown.com. We have all the details, so anyone who's interested in anything around the town, it's all listed there. And the Pearl River Public Library has a budget vote and Board of Elections Tuesday, June 4th, from 9:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Pearl River Public Library, 80 Franklin Avenue in Pearl River. Before we go on to the presentations, I just wanted to have a, what's that? June, oh, I said 4th? June 7th, okay. Me and the library were in cahoots. I was going to say people the wrong day. Okay, want to just take a moment of silence for the shooting today for the victims in Texas. There was a shooting at an elementary school, so if we could just have a moment of silence, I'd appreciate it. Okay, thank you. And our first presentation is going to be the Orangetown Sanitation Commission on the proposed rate increase for the garbage haulers in the town of Orangetown. So Skip, if you want to take the,
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the board, of public. I'm Skip Pizzetti, and I'm the chairman of the Orangetown Sanitation Commission. This past April, we were petitioned by the members of the garbage industry to have a public hearing regarding a request for rate changes for the for your garbage pickups. So the commission posted and advertised per law, and on the 27th of April, we held a public hearing at this location for the request for a rate increase. At that time, even though it was open to the public, we had no one from the public attended, which I think is probably a good thing, because when I discussed it with our clerk regarding any concerns that had been registered by the public during the course of the last few years, this past year in particular, we had no complaints whatsoever. So I think that's a good thing. We then heard testimony from the representatives of the haulers, which would be Mr. Brenner, and I'm sure he'd be available if you have any additional questions. The members of the commission questioned Mr. Brenner and the other representatives of the haulers regarding why they would want an increase in their fees. And I think Personally speaking, I think it's pretty obvious that over the last 2 years, things have gone up, especially in the areas of, especially with the trucking. You can look at your own gas bill and see what it is, especially diesel fuel for these things. So we listened to them. They gave us a number of facts regarding their additional costs, such as insurance, personnel costs. It was discussed. We reviewed the fees in our adjoining communities in in Rockland. Currently, we're at $32 a month, but and which happens to be the lowest in the county. Those others that we compare to would be Clarkstown, Haverstraw, and Stony Point. They're higher, and they're increasing there. So we felt it would be only fair that we make a recommendation, which I'm sure you will have a copy of the recommendation and the report of the
Somewhere.
minutes of the commission. So
I don't know if we have the minutes. Did we get the minutes? I don't think we got the minutes from the meeting. Okay. We'll get them from Karen Johns?
Yeah, she sent them over.
Okay. We'll make sure we get them.
Okay.
I know I got the
Then
recommendation.
I'll tell you what it
I
is.
didn't see it, but,
I thought you already had them. So
Okay.
what the recommendation was that beginning in January, beginning in June, that we would go for a 50-cent increase. And then rather than have to go through this on a regular basis, we've decided to follow the lead of a couple of the other towns, and then we would go up 50 cents annually for the next 5 years, so that we felt that would be cover their be more than fair, and still would be lower than what we saw as far as the other towns that had increases proposed. One other issue I would bring up is that the transfer station is looking at a significant increase proposed in the next couple of months. So we don't know where that's going to go, and of course, there'll be always, the sanitation people will always be able to come back and discuss it again, but we felt that this would be fair, and this way everyone could anticipate what their garbage fees would be for the next couple of years.
Okay.
okay. Anybody have any questions from
No, good.
Skip? Okay. Mr. Brenner, you have anything you want to say, you want to add?
The only correction is that they're presently getting $30, right?
So,
They're not getting 30.
$32.50, and then in February, they'll be 50 in January.
You want to get up? Go ahead. Go help him.
Yeah, that's fine, Ken.
I have to say my
No, it
name, or
needs a
we're
month.
okay?
Yeah, Kenny, just. for the
Ken
record.
Hype,
Ken, just for clarification, it's 50 cents a month,
no, it's $30 now
right?
per month. We were approved for June next week to go to $32.50, $2.50. Then January 50 cents, the following January 50 cents, and the next 4 years of 50-cent increases,
Right.
okay? So it's $2.50 now, and then 50 cents every January for 4 years.
4 years.
Okay. No. Yeah, no. I mean, we'll get the minutes or whatever. I mean, just speaking off the top of my head, I think starting June is going to be a little too soon, because the board has to approve it, and I'd like to get some notice out to the homeowners, so, we'll get the minutes. Anybody have
No.
questions? Questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Skip.
$2.
Okay, so we will go into the workshop of our agenda items real quick. We have the first public hearing is going to be on the proposed changes to the town code basically adding an article to address the zoning in the hamlet of South Nyack, the new hamlet of South Nyack. So that's what number 3, 4, and 5 are. Number 6 is opening the hearing for the proposed zone change for Gatolane. So that's 6, 7, 8. 9, approve our high school project graduation funding. I think this is, Jeff, is this the same as last year? Does anything change? Same as last year? 10 is award a bid to the Atlas Engineering. This has to do with testing and inspection services. This also is included in the bonding that we did already, so it's no additional. 11 is approval of the 2022 Certificate of Sewer registrations. 12 is declaring surplus vehicles. 14 is creating a position in Maintenance Supervisor Electrical in the Department of Environmental Management Engineering.
It's a little loud.
Oh, I skipped 13, sorry. Yeah, we're getting money, too, I don't want to skip that one. 13 is accepted funding from the Rockland County Stop DWI program. We're getting $5,000 towards reimbursement for police time. Number 15 is the Tier 4 pumping station improvements. And 16, again, related to the same thing, but one is the electric. And then we tried something new. We combined all of our Lend assistance, so we're going to combine them, but we have the Plus Polish Festival on Saturday, June 4th, the Wheels for Meals Ride to Fight Hunger on June 12th, the Rockland Solace Sunrise Suicide Prevention Walk on June 11th, and the Kyle J. Boyce fundraiser on Sunday, June 12th. So they're all, lending aid to those different organizations. Then we have accept and receive and the audit. Okay. What are we doing on time here? I guess we should,
In the first hearing.
do you want to do regular public or just go to public hearings? Public hearings?
7-11.
Yeah. South Nyack.
If we didn't do our regular public, we'll do that later? Yeah. Okay, so normally we would have just our general public comment period, and then we go into the public hearings. We're going to jump into the public hearings, and then we will have anybody who's still here who wants to speak in the general public, we'll have our regular public comment period. So the two first items are public hearings, so you are allowed to speak for 5 minutes on the specific hearing item. Again, not the general topic. So the first one, we are going to open, can I get a motion to open a public, open a public hearing. Again, this is related to South Nyack and us them dissolving, and we're changing our laws to basically incorporate some of our zoning code into theirs. So, and I'll let the attorney explain it better than that. Okay, can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Move.
Okay, Jerry move, second.
I'll second, Teresa.
I think Tom beat you to it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So no one signed up to speak about this. Yeah, you want to do, why don't we let, Rob, why don't you explain it?
Right, so
Speak then.
when the Village of South Nyack dissolved, by law, their code exists for 2 years if the town did nothing. So we have made some changes, one with in terms of permitting, but so the South Nyack code right now is still in effect for properties in the former Village of South Nyack. This is our first attempt into incorporating their code into the town code. It's not as simple as just kind of lifting it up and dropping it in the town code, although we tried. Dennis Michaels from Town Attorney's Office worked very hard on this with David Gilmore from LaBerge, who's here tonight, who will explain. And as folks in South Nyack will recognize, LaBerge was the group that assisted with the dissolution. So they're well aware of what went on and the code. So at this point, I'll ask David to step up and maybe go through a few items just to indicate what's happening.
My name is Dave Gilmore, and I'm a planner with LaBerge Group. We're a multi-service planning and engineering firm based in Albany, and we work in New York State. As Attorney Magrino said, we advised the joint communities, town of Orangetown and Village of South Nyack, on a dissolution plan upon the vote to dissolve the village. And as was indicated, the zoning law. If it was to remain, it would be in place for 2 years. In that case, you'd have 2 zoning laws. So LaBerge Group has worked with town officials to essentially smooth and integrate the Village of South Nyack zoning system into the town and try to provide for essentially one code so that you don't have 2. And in some instances, we've tried to rely on town criteria. We're calling this the hybrid zoning for the Village of South Nyack. And I'll just give the briefest of overview, but essentially, we're using your existing code to rely on standards like nonconformity, your enforcement standards, the current standards for amendments of your town law. You already have those types of provisions within zoning. So we're essentially taking away similar provisions in the town of, in the Village of South Nyack. We're calling it just the Hamlet hybrid zoning. And moreover, South Nyack regulated single-family homes. That wasn't current, it's not currently done in the town, and so that was one of the major differences that we sought to smooth in that regard is there's not as much regulation through an individual site plan submitted for every house addition, for every new residential house. That would be quite a workload added on to your existing staffing in the building department here. So essentially, and I'll shoot ahead to show you in South Nyack, there were 14 zoning districts, and 12 of those are residential. There's also a apartment zoning district down by Piermont Avenue by Route 287, and then there was one very small business district up by Cedar Street and Broadway. So essentially, what we're doing is we're bringing these 14 base zoning districts right into your code. We're going to establish essentially a new article for South Nyack. All of the districts are retained. They just get a South Nyack SN Hamlet designation, and then we've developed essentially an add-on to your bulk and use table that would be for South Nyack. So we're essentially just adding on to your use and bulk table for South Nyack, generally the same uses. One thing we did bring forward was a coverage standard for the South Nyack Hamlet hybrid zoning and its 14 subzones. That's essentially an amount of impervious coverage standard in that former village area that's now a hamlet, and we brought forward in the code. We also brought forward critical environmental area designations with some minor adjustments. There were critical area standards in the village. However, there were not detailed standards. There really wasn't any guidance, for example, for a drainage district near the thruway, and so we do propose pulling back from that. Since definitions aid the performance of the Hamlet zoning district, we've brought forward select definitions, but many of the existing town definitions would become applicable, and that's generally what we did, was provided for either specific definitions that apply to the hamlet, that aid in interpretation of the codes and standards overlaying the hamlet, or else you'll just revert to your town definitions and standards. And then generally, we brought forward a lot of regulations that were existing for bulk regulations and specific uses within the hamlet area, and we've provided for those specifically in the hamlet article of zoning. And then I've showed you the zoning map. We essentially just have carried forward the Hamlet of South Nyack zoning map as an adjunct or addition to your zoning map. So now you've got an inset with specific subzones for South Nyack. The next steps, you've got your hearing tonight to consider and then respond to public comments, as well as the town planning board and county planning board comments. So we would work with your staff and take the input that you received tonight, and we'd like to consider if there's any recommended adjustments, come back to you with a refined code. You would do seeker, and then you could consider adoption of that hybrid zoning so that you have it all standardized within your code. And look forward to working with you on this project. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Rob, you.
And as Dave mentioned, we did receive comments from county planning, a letter dated May 12th. I won't go through everything. I know the board has it, but as you can imagine, it was quite a task to go through both codes. So they came up with some suggestions that we may incorporate, some we may not. But I also want to mention, I saw Jane Slavin and Director Bobspay and Dave Majeski, the fire inspector, also worked very hard on this. So, again, as David said, at this point, it would be appropriate to take public comment. The intention would be to adjourn this to either in 2 weeks or a month, whatever the board's pleasure is. David, would you recommend a month or 2 weeks? He said a month, but by his face. So I would recommend the 30-day adjournment to the second meeting in June.
Okay, so nobody signed up for this. Is there anybody here who wants to speak again on this particular item? Nope. Once? Twice? Motion. I'll
make a motion.
Are we making a motion to adjourn? What are we doing?
Motion to continue the public.
There's no urgency declaring lead agency.
We
Well,
have
that's-
a resolution next. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You just want us
That's
to know you were
Dennis
there,
Michaels, who
Dennis.
helped on the. Yes, Dennis was here
I'm surprised
tonight.
you're in the second row, not the first row, Dennis. Okay.
Yeah, and the next, I would recommend continuing the public hearing, and then the next is a resolution to declare the town board the lead agency for secret purposes, and that's it.
Do we have the date of the next?
It
That
was
you wanna do it to?
June 28th.
To June 28th. Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing until June 28th?
I'll make a motion.
Brian Donahue, second. Jerry Vittori, all in favor? Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Number 5 is declaring ourselves lead agency in connection with this proposed local law. Can I get a motion? Tom Divany, second. Jerry Vittori, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to the next, I think that some of you signed up on the wrong sheet, but we'll figure this out here. Okay, so can I get a motion to open, I guess we're going to have the, are they, anybody here to present for them?
Right, but you can open the public hearing and
And
then
then
have
do it?
have
Okay.
them come.
Motion to open the public hearing with regard to the proposed zone change to Gatolane? Okay, Paul Valentine, second.
Second.
Jerry Vittori, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so why don't we get the applicants up here to make a presentation?
Sure.
Yeah, I think everybody signed up on the same sheet.
Thank you. Good evening. Madam Supervisor, members of the town board, general public. My name is Daniel Fix, and I'm with the firm Blakely, Platt & Schmidt, and we represent the petitioner, Toll Brothers. My colleagues Lino Shredder and Brian Quinn unfortunately could not be here tonight, but due to an unavoidable conflict upstate, but they will be here at the next public hearing to address this matter. With me is Ken G. Gennaro from Brooker Engineering, and from Toll Brothers, Greg Otis and Rob Dowd. We are very pleased to be here tonight at this public hearing to talk about the Toll Brothers petition concerning the utilization of a vacant 10-acre parcel of land on Gattle Lane in Pearl River. The current zoning of this property is R40. The petitioner seeks to change the zoning classification of the property from R40 to R15, or Medium Density Residence District, in order to permit the property's development with senior housing under the town's Planned Adult Community, or PAC, overlay zone. This project will consist of new roadways to be built to serve the townhouses with access to the existing road. Gatolane would serve as the main entrance, and Highland Avenue would be utilized for emergency access. The project would also have a designated recreation area to serve the community, and the proposed project on Gatolane for a PAC is consistent with the recommendations of the town's comprehensive plan, one of which is to help facilitate the development of a variety of housing options for an increasing senior population. The proposed project is designed to respond to the need for active adult housing in the town. The benefits of the project are as follows. This project will benefit the town by providing new housing for the growing, aging segment of the local population. The project will generously supplement the town's tax base by adding surplus. The recreational features of the project include a walking path and a gazebo. Now, allowable density in a PAC zone is 4 acres per unit, which equates to 40 units. And we understand that there have been discussions about reducing the number of units to 38. We are in the process of reviewing the feasibility of reducing the number of units, and updated plans will be submitted in that regard in advance of the next public hearing. And further, now, while the PAC zone allows for 10% of the units to be 3 bedrooms, this project will consist of only 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom units. Toll Brothers is a long-established, award-winning Fortune 500 company and the nation's leading builder of luxury homes and active adult communities. Toll Brothers builds nationwide and is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. Toll Brothers has been ranked the #1 home builder worldwide on the Fortune magazine's World's Most Admired Companies for the last 6 years in a row. They know what they're doing. They've done their market research. This area, this plot, is perfect for what they propose to do. The project will be world-class and a source of pride for the community. We look forward to hearing comments from the board and the public, and we are also in receipt of the recent GML review from the Rockland County Planning Department. And so we therefore request that this hearing be continued to the next public hearing, where we will address the comments and the board's comments and the public's comments as well. And with that, we thank the board for its time and consideration, and we look forward to hearing from the public as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I have questions. Well, the numbers have been fluctuating around, but now I'm hearing 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms. The last, is there or is it still a work in progress? Because it's hard for us to have a,
Well, as I understand it, the plans are in concept phase.
okay,
And so initially, there was, and by the way, the zoning allows for 3-bedroom units, at least 10%, but we have gone back and we will make it, 75% 2-bedroom, 25% 1-bedroom.
okay, so that's, okay. Okay, so, I guess it sounds like the plans are even, so I'll just say what my questions are from what I based upon what I had, and again, it sounds like it's changing as we sit here. One of the concerns, and I drove the site, I met with people from Coupon, I reviewed every paper we have from the planning board to the engineers or whatever, so I do have a question, and again, it's kind of what you're saying now, 2 and 1 bedroom. Some of the plans that I gave, and again, they were just like examples, they weren't the plans, obviously, show like bonus rooms and other rooms that, the concern is that they say they're a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and then there's this bonus room which is used as another bedroom or something. So I don't know how, and again, excuse my ignorance on this, but if we don't have the plans or whatever, how we even can weigh really in on.
Well, this was the start of the public hearing. The board has their most recent petition. And they were here before, and I know the board expressed that it wanted to see 2 bedrooms and 1 bedroom and fewer than 40 units. So what they're asking is they're here on the petition, start the hearing, and for the board to delve into that, about how many units, about 2 bedrooms and 1 bedroom. So that's really what it's here for, and then they'll make appropriate changes,
Okay,
depending upon what the
Okay.
feedback from the board and the public tonight.
okay.
And the county did weigh in, I know.
Okay, so a lot of my questions, I think, are probably
You
because
have
they're talking about these specific plans, which, I looked at where they needed variances for, floor area ratio and everything. It sounds like I wasted my time, is what it sounds like, no.
Well, no, this is definitely not a waste of time. This is really for us to hear from the board, from the public, and get a sense of where, of what the community desires out of this. So, you know, again, this is all, the plans submitted were conceptual. You know, there's been discussions that have been had in terms of, you know, the amount of units initially, because this was, you know, the petition was based on a 40-unit proposal, but clearly there have been discussions in terms of reducing that amount, and that is going back as well. So again, this is, the process is fluid, as construction is, and so this is really for us to get some feedback and go back to the drawing board and you know, present
Okay.
something, you know, with a little more substance to
Okay.
it.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope everyone's paying attention, that your voices will be heard. So I'm going to, it looks like some people signed up. I'm just going to, if you signed up, I'll call your name. It looks like some people may have signed on the wrong sheet, so I'll just start with the people on the right sheet. You do have a 5-minute time limitation. I just asked when you come up if you can state where you're from. That would be helpful for the record. So your name and, yeah, what town you're from. So I have Carolyn Britton Mitchell. Oh, okay, no worries. Okay, Carlos. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. My name is Carlos Real. I am a future resident of the community that's going to be adjacent to the property that's being proposed. And I do have some concerns with the full environmental assessment form that has been filed. I hope I got the correct one. I'm kind of new to this, and I couldn't find, the one I found was dated January 28th, 2021, which is the one that's attached to the amended petition. So if someone disagrees with that, let me know, because I'm working off that assessment form. And the concerns that I have is, again, the property that I'm going to be purchasing imminently is directly adjacent on the borderline with the proposed build-out. And what I'm looking at in the assessment form, there are several concerns that I have, and I know that some of the residents there also have, because there's going to be at least 10 homes that are going to be directly on the borderline with this project. The first concern, of course, that we have is that about 86% of the forested area is going to be torn down to have this construction put in there, which means that all of those houses along that borderline are suddenly going to be, that's all going to be coming down. Putting aside the issue of the tearing down of the property and then the subsequent construction, that value that the current residents have is going to be completely lost. The other concern, I think maybe the bigger concern that I have, is the issue of the sewage and the water runoff that's going to be created by the construction of this project. According to the assessment, it indicates that roughly 38% of the impervious surface on the construction is going to be increased by 38%, which means there's going to be substantially more water runoff than there currently is today. And I understand that the form indicates that they're going to be taking precautions, including building a retention pond, to take care of that issue. But in the form on page 6 itself, despite acknowledging that there's going to be the requirement of a retention pond, it also indicates still, the question is, will stormwater runoff flow to adjacent properties? And the box there that is checked says yes. So despite the retention pond that they propose to build there, which is going to be adjacent to the borderline with these 10 homes on the Gatolane properties, it appears that they still have concerns, and they acknowledge that there may still be additional runoff to the adjacent properties. And there's nothing in the petition, there's nothing in this assessment form that tells anybody what they plan to do about that. And I understand we're in the early process in this thing, but I would like to see in the future perhaps some supplemental studies done as to exactly what the neighbors adjacent to that property can expect in terms of runoff. The house that I am buying is currently on the corner lot. It's got a beautiful view of a bunch of trees. It's got a lot of wildlife that goes through there, and we're going to lose not only the trees, not only the wildlife, but we are concerned that along that entire line, we're going to have this water runoff right onto our properties, And we don't know what anyone's going to do about that. Now, certainly they can build a retention pond, and what we would like to see is some reasonable assurances that not only are they going to put a retention pond in there, but that we have some guarantee that we're not going to get this excess water runoff. And I haven't seen anything in the assessment that suggests that they have any supplemental studies on that issue. And again, that's my biggest concern. The additional traffic doesn't seem to be a concern. We don't oppose the construction overall, but there are issues with respect to the knocking down of the trees, to the wildlife, to additional water runoff that still have not been addressed. Noise level construction, I see I only have 50 more seconds here. But I would ask you to please look at the assessment. It tells you exactly the amount of impervious surfaces that are going to be increased. We're talking about almost 3.6 acres of land that normally is pervious is going to become impervious, which means there's going to be a runoff here. And I'm not sure that there's nothing that shows that the pond is going to take care of that issue. Roughly 9 acres of the forest that we currently have in our backyards is going to be gone. And personally, I'm living right on the corner there. It means I'm going to be probably looking at a wall, as are the other 9 or 10 residents down that line. Lastly, in the 10 seconds I have, there's an issue about an environmental site remediation that was done back in 1984. May I have 30 more seconds, Madam?
I'm sorry, we can't, it's just because we have to give everybody 30 more seconds. But there's going to be another hearing, we're just going to put it over, and by all means, you can come. Yeah. He's right there, right on the corner. I saw the for sale sign when I drove by. So I just do have a question related to that. Well, maybe you want to jump in first. I was going to ask the town attorney, maybe you have something first.
First of all, thank you very much for your comments. We really appreciate that. I just want to, this is very new in the process, and environmental concerns and other things that you've brought up will be addressed through the secret process and other review processes. My only question is, I just wanted to get your address.
171 Gattle Lane, which will be the very first house right after the entrance of the...
It's right adjacent to the lot. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask people, please, to refrain from yelling out. It's not fair to anybody. So I think the next person to sign up for this is Teresa Bonadies. Oh, okay, that's fine, okay. Yeah, there seems to be some confusion because this is not even the right list, okay. No, I'm sorry, you can't. Good try, though. Vincent, did Vincent think he was just signing in too? Same thing, okay. Anne Margaret Vasti. Okay. Now, someone signed, I don't know if it's for this. Carol Zara, maybe she signed up for something else? To speak in the regular? Did I get it right? Carol Zara? No? She said Maple Shade, I don't know really, okay, well, yeah. Okay, Frank Zara? No? Yeah, I don't know, but they're right there, okay. Mike, did you sign up for the hearing? Is he here? No, the public portion. The public, yeah, okay. You signed on the right sheet, everybody else signed on the wrong sheet, okay. Vanessa Lappins.
Hello, Vanessa Lappins from Blauvelt, Coupon Hamlets of Orangetown. Thank you to the board for allowing us to have a public hearing on this matter. Coupon had a meeting with the residents of Gatolane, and we'd like to work with the town and partner on continuing to explore 3 possible outcomes, and I'd like to take you through them really briefly. The option preferred primarily is a park, and so we'd like to create a park. We'd like to purchase the property and keep the current woodland setting. We're working to obtain the purchase price to determine how much Gatolane must raise via GoFundMe, and we'd like to partner with the town of Orangetown to create permanent parkland. I think even almost as important is the adjacent Pfizer property, which is the Muddy Brook acreage, which wasn't sold as part of the, I guess, the health sciences complex, and that's all federal wetlands, and that's about 110 acres. And so I've reached out to Pfizer Corporate Real Estate, but I'd like to explore the ability to look into that further to make that a park. Secondly, less density and more transparency. If we change the zoning, we immediately increase the value of this property 4 times, because there'll be 40 houses, and that's at least 4 times, probably greater than 4 times the existing cost. We want to allow Toll Brothers to look at building a less dense set of units. Per the planning board, we want to ensure that there are detailed plans in place prior to approval. We want to view the exact building plans to determine if they are in fact 2-bedroom units, and this is something, Supervisor, that you addressed. Very few of Toll Brothers' plans are 2 bedrooms, and all of them have myriad bonus rooms. Their clusters are not designed for 2-bedroom units, and it's unlikely they will create an entirely new layout for Orangetown. We need to address the residents' issues around power, water, emergency services, traffic in advance of granting the zone change. In short, revisit all the planning board concerns by remanding back to the planning board for a detailed set of comments once detailed plans are shared. The list of concerns forwarded to the town board from the planning board is short because there were too many concerns to recommend that the project go forward, and it was universally called overdevelopment by the planning board. In translation, this seems to be interpreted as a short list addressed by Brooker Engineering, which is in fact not the case. And there are many that think that Brooker is a conflict of interest, given the many projects they work on for the town and other private interests. Finally, new ideas. Attract new buyers who will build as zoned or come with a different vision for the space, tiny homes, sustainable development, similarly to what the town has done with HNA. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I think it's Robert. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor. Members of the board, you've seen me here before. We've been here many, many times. 15 years ago, this same attempt was made to downzone by Mr. Lane, the owner of the property. At that time, we came and we opposed it. We made a very cogent case, and it was defeated. It's now risen its ugly head once again. Contrary to some of what's been said here, as you may or may not know, I'm one of the original 28 people who bought on Gatolane, and I border the woods. I enjoy it. My wife enjoys it. Our neighbors enjoy it. Guests enjoy it. My thought is, if it was defeated once before, what's changed? I understand the need for senior housing. I really do. I'm a senior. But, first of all, if I were going to buy a plus $800,000 townhouse, I got 2 bedrooms. Okay, so instead of 3, I got 2 bedrooms. I got a study, I got a loft. I get some friends come over, they can crash. That's be that as it may. Where am I going to walk? There's no swimming pool for recreation. There's no gazebo. What about a clubhouse where we can have social events like all of the other senior citizens' housings have? Toll Brothers is building in Montvale. You can almost walk to the Garden State Parkway. You can, in fact, walk to Wegmans. Who in their right mind is going to walk to ShopRite from where we live? Nobody, okay? Who in their right mind is going to walk to the Palisades Interstate Parkway to get where they want to be? What realistic benefits do I have living there? None, as far as I can see, all right? I'm not going to get into the negatives that we've talked about many times before. You all know what they are. I'll repeat what's been said before by some people here and by the planning board. This is nothing more than high-density housing. Their own words. We were here when they said it. What's changed? Mr. Lane made a business decision many years ago, and unfortunately, it was a poor decision. Okay? I don't begrudge the fact that he wanted to try, but he went about it the wrong way, and I don't think that what he wants to do benefits anyone except himself. You want homes there? Build 10, as it's allowed for. I would welcome 10 really nice homes spread out over 10 acres in my backyard. That's not a problem. We've talked before about the problem getting into and out of Gatolane. The streets are so narrow. You've got 80 parking spaces, maybe 50, 60 cars buzzing in and out of there all the time, and I've said that before. FedEx, Amazon, whomever, all these trucks, Do you know what happens if a landscaper truck parks on Gatolane, the entrance to Gatolane? You got to back up if the school bus is coming. This is not meant to be the type of development that they would like to see. This is a pure residential area. I welcome our new homeowner, okay? I welcome him to the quietness, the solitude. It's a wonderful place for kids to grow up, okay? The wildlife, we've talked about that before, and nothing's changed there. I have deer, I have wild birds, I have turkeys to get in my way, but I have them. Where's all this wildlife going to go? The only thing I could ask you to understand is, we know, and I read a couple of years ago, the single most pressing issue facing Orangetown is overdevelopment. Rockland County. Okay? Those laws and actions are not enough. With continued efforts, we should be able to enforce these laws. I don't begrudge somebody trying to make a profit, but I do begrudge them taking away my comforts, using my tax money, okay, and making life for all of us less than what it was supposed to be. Build 10 houses, I'll come and I'll bless them. But that's it. Thank you.
John Tillotson.
John Tillotson. I live technically in Chestnut Ridge. I live on the corner of Gattle and North Highland. Thank you for letting us have this say. My tale begins born and raised on Long Island. I was in the village of Valley Stream, Nassau County. And what I saw over the years that I lived there is exactly what's happening here. It was a board of zoning and building department that allowed overdevelopment. They granted every zoning variance that came in. They allowed the developers to decide what was going on, and either by being naive or being corrupt, they allowed the developers to control Valley Stream and most of Nassau County. So 15 years ago, I picked up and moved here because Valley Stream turned into Queens. It's overdeveloped, there's congestion, way too much traffic, and there's a burden on every service that's being provided. I moved here because of the 1 acre zoning. Technically, I'm in Chestnut Ridge, but it's basically the same. And there was a quality of life here that I moved here for. And it's the space, the trees, the traffic, a little too much, but it's less. And this whole project that's being developed is of no concern to the people that live in this entire area. There's way too much traffic as it is going up and down Gatolane. Now I see a proposal, I don't know, because I apologize, I haven't seen the latest plans and I'm not sure if it's official, but I spoke to a surveyor that was walking on Gatto that was hired by the developer, and they're talking about widening Gatolane, possibly 10 feet in each direction. This was just what he was looking out for. So trees would come down, landscaping would come down, and there's no, apparently in these proposals, there's no concern for the quality of life for us that live there. And I guess all I'm saying is, what's the price of this development? Who's gaining from this? Just so the town of Orangetown can say that they have 40 units for senior citizens. It may be good to put on a brochure and send it out and say, look how much senior citizen housing we have. But for the people that live here, the quality of life is going straight down. The people that live bordering it, they're going to have the greatest impact. I'm on the corner, so I'm going to see every car going in and out. And the way it is right now, we're having problems because because of Chestnut Ridge and their zoning, we have 2 religious schools that have opened on North Highland. So there's a tremendous amount of traffic right now. They're parked up and down Gatolane, and now we're in a discussion with the police trying to control that traffic. Now we're talking about probably 80 more cars up and down. It can't handle it. And now if the proposal is right to widen it, it just cheapens everything that everybody in the neighborhood enjoys about living there. So I'm not sure why, as you said before, I'm not sure why this has been turned down before and it's resurrected again. And I don't understand why, of course, you're entertaining it because you have to, but I don't understand why you would consider this for approval because there's no benefit to anybody that lives here and moved here to make a home and make a life for this purpose. So, thank you.
Now, the next three people that signed, okay, so that's, I think they signed, I think that's the only ones that signed up to speak for the hearing, so, yeah, you can come up if you want to, you can come on up, yeah, you don't have to sign up if you want to speak, you. I said that. but I didn't do it.
My name is Rose Cahill, and I have lived on Gatolane for 49 years. My first question is, how legal is it and how many homes can we have with one exit? There is one exit out of Gatolane onto Highland Avenue. How many homes can we have legally back on Gattle?
We're not answering questions, you can make your presentation, but we're not going to be answering questions. We'll address the whole crowd
All
at the
right,
end.
and are you planning another exit out of Gatolane?
We'll let the applicant speak when you're done. We're not going to be answering questions from up here, so state your questions and we'll have the applicant
All right,
respond.
they're my questions and my concern.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, thank you. This one's definitely not. Let me know. Again, just if you don't mind stating your name for the record.
Joanne Johnson, I live on Gatolane, 26 Gatolane. I did some research on the Toll Brothers, and they tend to construct buildings out of trusses, T-R-U-S-S, if you'd like to do the research on that. Outside of their developments is a triangle sign that says R and F, which means it just makes the cutoff for building properties. But the fire departments, and if you'd like to get Orangetown or anybody else involved about following up on this, they call them quicker collapsible buildings. So in other words, when they go into their development, they have to post this triangle that says R and F. They build it cheaper, and that's why it's more collapsible on a quicker time. That's one thing that I have a feeling that will be built on there. Second of all, there was problems with trying to get fire departments down there because of the size of the road. That was the other thing that was going on. They want to widen a road to do it, which means I lose 10 feet off my front yard for this. I lose 5 feet off my side yard for this. A month ago or 6 weeks ago, if you came up to Gattle and would visit it, and I would appreciate it if you would, the road was completely flooded, and Orangetown had to come up there after 4 days to drain it. It covered 3/4 of the road. If you were trying to get out of Gattle, you had to drive onto the oncoming side of the road to get out. I would appreciate any type of research you could do on the Toll Brothers. I don't believe they are doing anything that's favorable for us. I think it's a quick in and out. Here I am, I got the thing, I'm done, and I'm moving on to the next thing. It was rezoned for 8 houses, not 10, and 8 is more than enough. Mr. Lane has the opportunity to do that if he wants to do it. I see now he's doing his project off of 304. He's finally putting all that up after he took all the trees down there. He's zoned to have 8 houses on there. If he wants to do it, let him go for it. I wouldn't like it. I would be against that like I was 15 years ago. I don't think there's a need for it. And what I'm afraid of is if they get this property, directly across the street is 5 more acres, and they're going to be on your door saying, we need those 5 acres. We're going to put up some more senior housing. I'd like to see your overtime that you're paying the sewer department now because it's overwhelmed with what's going on. If they get this piece of property, they will continue down to Route 59, which is what Pfizer owns and is trying to get rid of. So they will start here and they will just keep going. one right after another. Please do your research on what Pfizer owns and what Pfizer is trying to get rid of. This was the same battle we were fighting 15 years ago when they were trying to get that land to rezoned. It's just unnecessary for this development. If Mr. Lane is worried about it and doesn't want to do it, donate it to you. Donate it to Orangetown as open space. I don't find that as a problem. It would help everybody who's here. It would leave everything as it is. The worst you'd have to do is come in there and fix the roads because of the flooding. The flooding is overwhelming. It always is. It just needs that to be taken care of and be taken care of the people that you are asking you here now to be their voices and speak for them. I would like to see anybody from the town to please come up there and drive through there and understand why we want it the way we want it. You know, I'm in Orange, like I said, I'm in Ramapo. They're gonna take my front yard away to build this wider road for a development that people don't want. It's just not right. It's just something that everybody needs to work together with. Mr. Lane can donate it, or he can build his 8 houses. We don't need 44 houses. And it will never be 2 people per house, because if anybody has a Generation Z or a millennial child at home, they know they have to get a court order to get their kids out of the house. So it's not gonna be mom and dad moving in. And yes, my time's almost up. But I'm just letting you know, it is not going to be 2 people moving in. It is not going to be 88 cars. It's going to be a blank show is what it's going to be. It's going to be an overwhelming blank show. And we came before the planning board. They said it best. It's 8 pounds of doo-doo in a 5-pound bag. It's overbuilding. That's what was said last time with the planning board. Please look it up. Please do your research on Toll Brothers. They are a top 500, but they have a lot of lawsuits against them.
Is there anybody else who wants to speak about the zone change?
Good evening. Randolph F. Johnson, Gatolane. They have no regard for the residents. They just want to get in, get it up, and get out. There's zoning laws for a reason. They're there. R15 zoning, they're trying to claim, is just a nice way around glorified apartments, which are townhouses. They're not senior housing, because they're going to be close to $1 million by the time they go on the market. So, they never mention Ramapo, like it doesn't exist. They're always before Orangetown. Ramapo borders it, you have to go through Ramapo to get there. We are R35 zoning. So, the 2 parcels don't comply to R15. And it's just a broken record. They just keep trying to wear us out. Again, there's no need for it. He could put his 8 houses up, like the lady said before, or he can donate the property. Why have zoning laws? You know, it has to keep coming like a broken record. A broken record. Just keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. They do not care. So there really shouldn't be any debate about what happens to the road if the property is built on by them, because it's a violation of the zoning laws. And if anybody amends it, it just, that's it. That's all I have to say on that one. Everybody else said enough before me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jen, and I live on Gatolane. Foul zone. I just want to mimic everything that people have said here before. The one thing I wanted to say that if the Toll Brothers really wanted to know what the community wanted or their thoughts, then they would ask us. But they haven't. I haven't received one postcard, letter, or community meeting besides the first one, just to hear about our thoughts and our vision for this property. The other thing I want to talk about is I definitely believe that Brooker Engineering, there's a conflict of interest there. If we could look into that, maybe have another company work with them, but I do find that to be a conflict of interest. Also, the time of the property being built, it's built to the specifications of the owner. These are townhouses. They're not just going to develop however many all at once. they're built just like the ones in Montvale as soon as they're bought. And that property has been being built for quite some time. The other issue we have is the parking on Gatto. Not the parking, but just the lane. It's cramped. Everyone knows here. If someone is making a turn onto Gatolane and you're coming down Gatolane and you both have SUVs, it's tight. If there's a school bus coming down, it's tight. We've had to call the police already because someone had to get out of their car to see if there was oncoming traffic in order to make a left because people started parking on Gatolane, which might happen if there's not enough parking in these townhomes because they're only saying, I think there was like 50 spots. It's not one for every townhouse. And I guess the other thing, since I have 3 minutes, might as well, right? I just wanted to read something. It was the Orangetown candidate profile from patch.com. And they just wanted to talk about, and this is regarding you, Ms. Kenny, running for town supervisor in Orangetown. And they asked, you know, the reason for your running, the single most, and I quote, the single most pressing issue facing our community and what I intend to do about it. And you stated, the single most pressing issue facing Orangetown is overdevelopment throughout Rockland County and specifically in the town of Ramapo. So, Orangetown, I'm sorry. You also stated, pardon me, I have to scroll. More must be done to strengthen and protect our zoning laws and enforce our town code in order to preserve our suburban community and our single-family residential neighborhoods. We must move forward on these additional laws and initiatives. And you talk about strengthening our zoning laws, you know, protect these properties for overdevelopment. You know, that this is one of the reasons why I voted for you. You know, not only being a female, you know, woman empowerment, but because of what you stated. So I hope and I pray that you stay true to this and really listen to the concerns of the community, as we do believe it's a bit of overdevelopment on Gatolane. Nick.
My name is Tom Gabigan. I live on Laurel Road, the end of Laurel Road. And when I moved there, I said, this is heaven. I came out of the Bronx. I was in construction for over 50 years. And when the builders tell you that they're going to build beautiful homes, I agree. But anybody that's been in construction as long as I have, I see some of the projects that they build. In a couple of years, you should go back and ask the people that put up big, big money, and the buildings stink. The windows don't even hold the heat in the house. They gotta run the furnaces more. They put in hot air systems with an egg coil on it for cooling. They're crap. I now know these builders, but since about 20 years, the builders are only in there for one thing, is to make money. If you see the people that came up here, most of the people got a few years left in life. You see the way I walked up here? I've been, and I don't want to change. I want to see something built. I have a beautiful backyard where I see deer, turkeys. In fact, you can train some of these turkeys to come and eat out of your hand if you take it easy with them. The only thing is they're going to come and crap all over your place, you know? So you got to watch your turkey. But I'm telling you, get up in the morning about 6:30, go down Laurel Road, and you will sit there with the traffic. It's a shortcut to get into Pfizer's, and it's a shortcut to get to the bridge, the Mario Como Bridge. if we let this construction go, I never saw a job come in on time, we're gonna be stuck with the construction in and out all day, bringing material in, bringing the material out, and these people using Crooked Hill Road as a shortcut. You're gonna see accidents that you don't believe. Or you're gonna be sitting there so mad you can't get out to get to work. I don't have anything against the builders who want to make some money, I blame them, but they're overdoing it. Any construction job in the last 20 years, if you go back and ask the people, they're not happy with the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has not had a chance to speak that wants to speak on this particular matter? Eileen?
Good evening. I don't know where to begin. As you know, I've been around Orangetown for about 50 years, and zoning has been sort of an interest of mine over the 50 years. I believe in the power of the input from the residents of the affected area. I live in Palisades, so I live in the southernmost area of Orangetown, and Pearl River is the most northern part of it. So, as a non-resident of Pearl River, I still feel for these people who live on Gatolane, because the development that's being proposed will definitely have a negative impact as opposed to a positive impact. I live very close to New Jersey, so I'm constantly in Bergen County for business and for personal reasons. I see in Old Tappan, on Old Tappan Road, what has been being built over there, major high density. Wherever you go in Bergen County, basically, that's all they want to build. Orangetown has always been a residential area for single-family homes. We do have housing for seniors, Thorpe and Dowling, and the place over here by Warbaum's. That housing is suitable. But what they're building now, the concept of these builders is massive density and really no consideration for the abutting neighbors. Where I live in Palisades, I have to tell you that on Century Road, 3 homes came on the market. They were sold within 2 days. 1.3 million, 1.7 is another house that's on the market. Coastal Road and Century Road. 1.7 went on today, and the other one was 1.3, and I believe it was sold above market, above the quote. What's happening with single-family homes is that the value of these homes jumps from the time that's put on the market at a certain price, it goes for $20,000 or $30,000 more. The way I see it, it would be more beneficial to build 8 or 10 homes at if these units are going to sell for $800,000, you might as well build a home. The neighbors will be happy. There won't be major impact on our infrastructure, which definitely needs to be looked at. The other thing is, I don't understand the connection of people that live in Ramapo and the people who live in Pearl River, and why the people in Ramapo are affected by they're losing property, areas of their land. I don't understand this, but anyway, all I can say...
Gatolane actually goes through, you have to go through Ramapo to get into Orangetown. So people on Gatolane could be in Ramapo, and then they go into Orangetown.
But they still pay just Orangetown taxes, or?
No, they pay Ramapo taxes. They don't pay taxes to us.
Okay. I'm very, you know me, I'm all over the place over here. But the only thing I can say is that, having been part of many, many lawsuits, I guess, against the town or the schools because of certain zoning that they wanted to do in the area that I live in currently, I don't want it to get that far. I have hope that this town board will listen to the people that have lived in Gatolane for 35, 40 years, 2 years, 1 year, because they bought in an area which they felt was R40. You can build a beautiful home for close to $1 million. It'll sell just like that. Because if there's any indication of what's happening where I live, I'm seriously considering, maybe that's what I should do. Because I have 1/3 of an acre bordering the Palisade Parkway with deer, a lot of noise from the Palisade Parkway, especially on a Sunday. If you want to hear noise, just come to my property and hear all this trucks and cars that are going down the Palisade Parkway. But anyway, I don't know. I think the property values in Orangetown are where they are today because we have had a conservative approach to zoning. And I think we should retain that. And if people want to build senior house or high density, you have to find the proper location, not a location that is going to impact negatively those people that have lived in Pearl River for 30, 40 years. I have 3 more minutes. Thank you.
Anyone who hasn't had a chance to speak on this matter that wants to speak? I guess, can we get the applicant, there was some questions.
Rob, can you read the comments from the county?
I was just looking for them. I don't have them. Do you have in the backup?
No, I wanted to get about the second entrance.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So they sent a letter dated May 16th, which I believe is part of the backup. I put it on there, but this is a referral pursuant to the General Municipal Law 239 L and M. Their first comment is they provided 23 comments. The first one being that they disapprove of the granting of the zone change as proposed. And then each comment, they do mention the 2006 application. And again, I don't know if you want me to go through every single one or...
But Rob, this goes back to when we started, when I said how they're coming here saying, we're 40, we're 36, we're 2, we're 1. How does the county even know what they're doing?
They've come in with a conceptual
On
plan.
what they came in at, that's on the 40.
Yeah, this is on the 40. They came in with the conceptual plan. It was circulated when the board indicated it would be willing to entertain it. So it has been circulated. And again, if they change the plan, it can be recirculated. I don't know if you wanted me to read each one, but just for the public, what the disapproval means, and the applicant certainly is aware of this, in order for this to pass, the board, it would need to be a supermajority approval. So you'd have to have 4 votes.
But I think, again, I think it's almost we're going to have to recirculate if they come back after tonight. I mean...
Well, again, we can, and the board can do that, and will do that. So, but if you look at the content of it, it's not...
They reduced the numbers from what they did. We have to send it back to them?
You don't have to, but you can. You don't have to. If it depends on the level.
Shouldn't have been here yet, but...
The county's recommending, seems like a change to R22 with 15 units. That's coming from the county.
To what, R22?
R22, R15 with a maximum of 15 units.
Right, well, if it's R22, it can't be a pack. It would be...
Yeah.
That's just some of the comments that are out there.
But that's funny, because there's R15. Okay, I just wanted to there was a question about the access road, so I think we have to...
Sure, but again, I don't know if you wanted me to read every comment. Again, it's posted on the website.
We're not voting tonight.
No, Tom asked me to read
Oh.
I'm just indicating that the county planning did disapprove, and that's, the significance of that is the supermajority vote.
Okay, there was a question about the access, so I don't know if you just wanted to address the access, or...
Ken DeGennaro from Brooker Engineering, site engineer. So the application that's before you has access to Gatolane for the main access, and then there's an emergency road to the north to Grotke. So that would just be for use.
Okay, I'm not going to say it again. You can't be yelling out. It's not fair. Everyone had a chance to speak, and now we're going to let the applicant and the board members speak.
So that's typical, it's construction to provide multiple access points to the site for emergency vehicles. It happens all the time.
Okay.
We did receive an email asking if that could be, not if this was ever approved, if that could be left open instead of just for emergency use only. Did you get that report?
Yeah, there was an email from somebody.
That would be up to the planning board. We have no objection to either way, whatever the planning board feels would best serve the neighborhood.
Okay. Any other questions for?
The Gatolane, what is that zone? Is that R15?
I have the map. I have the,
The
it's
existing houses are R15.
R15.
The property that's the subject of this application is R40.
Right. But the houses right adjacent are R15.
Yes, the Orangetown
Correct.
residents are R15. Oh, Tom has it.
How many houses can you put on an acre?
I think
You know
some,
better than me.
I think it was like, I don't know. Jane, you know off the top of your head?
3. It depends.
It's like, I think it's like 20-something houses.
Right,
Yeah,
depends on.
maybe about
the-
2.5.
Depends on the layout of the
Right.
lot.
Okay, so I'll just start my kind of thoughts on this. So, I know a lot of people came up and said he can do his R40 or whatever, or leave it empty. But the reality is, there's a lot of uses as a right, and Mr. Lane is free to do as he sees fit. So he could also sell the property, and it could be used for multiple uses. Single-family homes, Jane had said 9 or 10, very large homes. Again, it's part of the attraction, for lack of a better word, to the senior housing was there's no children in the school district, but you're bringing in tax ratables. The 2 bedrooms is something we all thought was something that was better than large homes that could have lots of kids. It also allows other uses, churches and similar places of worship, libraries and similar community facilities, public parks and playgrounds, schools of general instruction, schools of religious instruction, a conversion of a detached owner-occupied single-family dwelling, so as to add a unit clearly subordinate to the main one, telephone exchange. When we do our comp plan, we have to look at whether we need a telephone exchange, and fire, police, and community-owned ambulance station. So it's not this or nothing. It's this or something. And so, again, subject to what you all say, to me, having, 2-bedroom, over 55 units, is something that brings in good tax ratables. I think there's a need for it in the community. Whether that's the right location is obviously subject to debate. Again, we say overdevelopment, none of us is in favor of overdevelopment. That doesn't mean no development. Sure, I would like turkeys and birds in my backyard too, but, it's somebody's property. So something's going to go there, and to me, it's something we know and we control, or we say, Mr. Lane, go see what you can get for your property. So that's how I was viewing it, but
The only thing I have to say is Gatolane at the beginning is a very rough street. That should have been widened when your guys' house was put in.
and I think it's public, right? It's a public road.
I think it was private and turned over, but it was never,
Yeah.
it should have been repaired, it should have been widened. And so I think even if single-family homes go in there, I hate to tell you, you're gonna lose some of your property, because they're gonna put a wider road there for safety reasons. They have to. The road is unsafe, it floods, you can't get 2 cars down there. So, I hear that.
We really can't do this. There'll be another public hearing, you'll get another chance to speak. And you're free to send us emails, you're free to send emails. It's just we can't, everyone want to start again. Well, I would just about the Gatolane, it is on the plan here to widen it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
We've had discussions with Jim Dean from the Highway Department and Bruce Peters from the Engineering Department about preferences for the access, and through those discussions, the widening of Gattle Lane
Right.
was the preferred option.
Right,
And
I
we
think
looked at
on
it and it's
Paul's
feasible.
point, that would be, even if there was 8 houses or 10 houses or whatever.
Right,
Right,
and
would
so
be required.
just to speak on that, the widening would occur within the existing right-of-way, so it wouldn't be on private property.
What did I do? I had notes, I lost my notes.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Yeah, so, nobody else has any other questions? We're going to be putting this over. You're free to, again, to send questions or comments via email to the town board. We all have emails, you can find them on the town website.
Phone numbers are also on the town.
I think we're putting this over for 30 days?
That's the June 28th.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here, so it's up to you guys. You can,
What do you mean?
I'm not going to be here June 28th. So do you want to put it for June 28th? You want to put it after? Put it after?
That's fine.
What's that? Where am I going? I may not come back. You might have to put it off for a long time.
I think it's the second week in July. What's the meeting in July, Allison? Or,
I
I'm
lost
sorry.
my-
July 12th and July 26th.
No, I lost my. Okay, July 12th, is that the?
I just, in terms of the adjournment or putting the meeting over.
You just speak into the microphone.
Yeah, we
I'm
can't,
sorry.
yeah, they can't hear.
In terms of adjourning and putting the meeting over, we're requesting if we could have it on the next meeting in June 14th, so we could have an opportunity to respond to the county GML comments.
I guess we can hear it over and then just.
Do what?
He said he wants to come back on July 14th and respond.
June
I'm sorry,
14th.
June 14th, and respond to the GML comments, and then we could put it over again from there. The next meet, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's more, okay. Right, so we'll have 2 more, okay. So June 14th, it looks like for those who are listening, June 14th, they'll be back to respond, and then they'll be back on July 12th, I guess with, in the meantime, they'll, presuming we like the response.
Well, one of the issues was how many units you were willing to entertain.
Right.
The current petition has 40, so I think if you're, entertaining it, the question is, are you entertaining 40? Do you want it to be less?
We already
No,
told them we
I
wanted to
think
be- we
that
already
they were
told them
going
we
to
wanted
come,
less.
they were going to come back with any changes, right?
I'm sorry?
I think they would, you were talking about earlier about coming back with changes, or any changes that would be there. This is the first step, and, nothing's happened yet, so.
No, that's
Right,
correct.
I mean, I think,
There's still discussion, is
Right.
what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
nothing, okay.
I mean, I think what Rob's trying to say is if there's a magic number, we say if you don't come back with X, don't come back, that they want to know that.
Oh,
Or not, you can wait and see what they.
Yeah, I think we
yeah,
should.
they wanted to come back and I'm assuming you wanted to come back and answer some of the questions that were raised this evening.
Absolutely. And
So, yeah, so,
And the
then,
JML.
again,
Yeah,
it's a
and the-
work
and
in
the JML.
progress. We'll start from there.
yes.
Okay.
We're going through the process, and, I don't have a timeline for that, but it's doing as, as.
It won't be before the next meeting.
It may well be. We're looking at the feasibility of it, and as far as I know, I think that's a possibility.
You may not have time if anybody else needs to review it.
Well, I don't think they're going to be sending it out yet, but you mean again?
They could submit it whenever they want. It's just a matter of the it won't be
Right,
The more time
Vetted.
he gives us to review it and get it on the town website, the better we can get
right.
comments.
We'll do it as expeditiously as possible, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so from what I'm understanding, we are going to make a motion to adjourn it to June 14th, correct?
I'll make that motion.
Brian, June July?
No, July 12th.
Don't, what?
Right now, we're going June 14th.
Don't be, I have enough trouble up here. Okay, June 14th and July 12th, okay. So the motion is to move it to June 14th. Brian moved it. I get a second? Jerry seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Do we declare ourselves lead agency, or?
Yeah,
Or should we just hold off?
that's up to you.
I think we should just hold off.
Okay.
Does everyone agree? Yeah. Tom,
mean-
I'm saying hold off on declaring lead agency. What do you think?
I mean, you're the lead agency. No other agency
Okay,
has.
so let's just hold
has
off.
Review of
We'll
authority.
just pull it. All right.
Yeah, just pull it tonight.
Okay. Okay, well, we're done with that, so you're more than welcome to stay, but we're done. But they'll be back before us on June 14th. Okay, can I get, we have to approve the, oh, shit, I forgot. Okay, we'll take 2 minutes. I forgot about the public comment. I don't know, is Tom still here? Tom Kleiner signed out. Oh, he's in the back. Carol and Tom. Come on, okay. Oh, God, we got to go back and now do the public comment. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start up again.
That's what I said.
Can I get a motion to open the public comment portion? Jerry, second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we did have a couple of sign-ups. I have Tom Kleiner. Is Carol Baxter?
Tom Kleiner, Spark Hill. When I was here a couple of weeks ago talking about the school board elections, I was surprised to hear some residents expressing concern about the comprehensive plan. And when I attended a few of the early meetings on the plan that the supervisor organized with the board, there was good public participation. And the initial work that the consultants did was, I thought, really good. So I read through it again, and what I can say to you is it's a great plan. And I wanted to compliment the supervisor and the board, number one, for hiring AKRF. We worked with them when I was with Dennis Choi, supervisor before. In 2003, they helped us with the Route 303 Sustainable Development Study and other things related to that, and they were the primary consultants on this plan now. And it really is a plan that everybody should read and consider. I just want to mention a couple of things that I thought were really helpful that you guys are going to have to, work with them on. Again, Route 303, as it was then, many years ago, it still is now an opportunity for implementing the Sustainable Development Study recommendations and just making it a more livable corridor. The Lake Tapan waterfront, as it was, for the last 20 years, is really a pristine piece of land that the plan recognizes as something that needs to be protected along with other open space, and they're really focused on that. And also, they have a mention of trying to have truck routes not go through residential areas. Those are just some of the things. So what were people concerned about? I think, and I think probably the board agrees, there's some language in the plan that talks about auxiliary apartments and transit-oriented development and other things where, I think the plan is, the consultants and the board are trying to encourage young people to stay in the community, and as we heard a bit of in a different context tonight, seniors, staying in the community as well. And obviously the concern is overdevelopment. So, it's always a difficult challenge to meld those things together, but the goals of trying to retain a vibrant community are really valid. And I just want to emphasize, you know this, but to those who express concern, it's a draft plan. The board ultimately is going to have to decide on any zone changes. It's not easy, but it's a worthwhile endeavor. So I'll just end by saying people should read it. You should encourage, of course, the land use board members to read it, because there's always a danger that a great plan will just sit on the shelf, as maybe our 2003 plan did. But anyway, I just again want to say that it's a great start. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
We have next, I have Carol Baxter.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you tonight. Congratulations on the start of the construction of the new town hall. This must be very exciting. I hope it goes smoothly and quickly, and it will all be in the past soon. I have to admit that I was a little concerned about the beginning process of the comprehensive plan, but I attended many of the public workshops, and either online or in person. And I have to say I'm impressed with the process, most specifically with the thoughtful and well-informed opinions and suggestions that are welcomed at the of the community during the breakout sections. After each presentation of a workshop, then one person from each breakout section gives it like a little rundown. And they've been very, very thoughtful, intelligent, really a lot to learn from everybody in the community. I think it's just been great. But there's two things that were glaring from each of the breakout, whether it was about economic development, transportation, housing, environment, sustainability, etc. It's flooding and traffic. Flooding and traffic is in every single aspect of these categories. Whatever direction the future of Orangetown takes, it's critical that all departments in the town of Orangetown, building department, highway department, town board, police departments, make a concerted effort to solve these flooding and truck problems now. Trucks are infiltrating all of our hamlets. They're exceeding weight limits. Route 303 during the day looks like a railroad. I sat in Marty's Bagels parking lot, and for 5 minutes I counted 25 container trucks. I was shocked. In Palisades, Oak Tree Road, Route 340, and Route 9W has significant increased container truck traffic. Every hamlet has this problem. Moving forward, I hope that the town gives some thought on the approval of the mega warehouses that are going to be want to be approved, especially those on Route 303 between 340 and Mountain View Avenue, that will cause much more congestion, and they're all in the Spark Hill watershed. So I hope that you'll continue to keep that. I know you're keeping it all in mind, but I hope that there'll be a concerted effort for all that. Thank you very much for the process and for hearing our concerns. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Tom Shea?
Hello, my name is Tom Shea. I live on Route 340 in Spark Hill for the last 25 years. I live next to the Spark Hill Creek, and over the last 25 years, I've noticed flooding getting progressively worse. Myself and dozens of my neighbors who have never had flooding in our home before 1999 are now flooding regularly as more and more variances are being granted and developments in Spark Hill in the developments of the Spark Hill Creek watershed. On today's agenda, I see that you are auctioning off 6 town vehicles that have been damaged by flooding. I also see the Department of Environmental Management and Engineering are awarding a Tier 4 pumping station improvement contract for $3 million because they're being damaged by flooding. I'm noticing a theme here. Critical infrastructure like pumping stations, firehouses, police cars, along with millions of dollars of private property and private residences, are being damaged by flooding and overdevelopment and runoff on the Spark Hill Creek. The state paid several $millions of our tax money on a comprehensive study to help mitigate the flooding of Spark Hill Creek. The report, prepared by engineers from SLR Associates using FEMA flood mapping technology, highlighted the problems that are causing the flooding and provided solutions. I request that you put on hold any further development in the confines of the Spark Hill Creek watershed, including the municipal parking lot on 340. That board members Donahue, Valentine, and Supervisor Kennedy voted for before reading this comprehensive report. I hope you can revisit that. So until you can thoroughly read the New York State DEC Spark Hill Creek Flooded Mitigation Report, SD 115, and physically come see the problem with the residents who live on the creek, please stop approving development until you mitigate this flooding. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yep. Mike Mandel?
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny, members of the Town Board. Michael Mandel, a resident of Pearl River. Just wanted to, yes, Tom, people do read the comprehensive plan. I've attended all the meetings from the beginning on, including the ones that have been on Zoom. And I got to thank the supervisor for having the wording changed on the accessory units, which would have brought more traffic, higher density into our thing. And I do read that comp plan, and I am a member of one of the boards, so thank you. Just brought that up. I just wanted to thank the board for passing Resolution 246 to lend assistance to the Pearl River fireworks. Every year, this is our 40th anniversary of running the fireworks display in Pearl River, and we couldn't do it safely without the help of the Highway Department and the Police Department, which do a phenomenal job every year. The carnival, now, It's a nonprofit organization, the Pearl River Park and Activity Committee, for all those who don't know. We're not connected with any government or political entity. We're just a nonprofit organization. And we collect money to pay for the fireworks based upon letters that we send out to the community, to our business members of our community, and several people up on the board do contribute every year. We have their banners up. And if you do come to the fireworks or carnival, take a look at the banners out there and please support our local businesses. We also support it by collecting funds in front of ShopRite, which you'll see through the month of June. You'll see us out there in front of ShopRite collecting money. Please contribute if you enjoyed the fireworks last year. The carnival this year will be from June 16th to 19th at the Central Avenue Field. Again, that carnival helps pay for the fireworks display. And if we do make any additional monies, we try to put it back into fixing up the Central Avenue Field. A couple of years ago, we had the gazebo rewired and relit with new lighting, which saved the school district a bit of money. We also worked with the Scouts to set up a Eagle project. If you notice, there's lights onto the flagpole there. So I just wanted to say thank you again. Hopefully you'll come out. The fireworks are on July 4th. Starts around 6 o'clock. We'll be honoring one of our distinguished members of our community ahead of time, which will be a former councilman and legislator, works with Venture and many other organizations. Mr. Dennis Troy will be honored this year, so please come out. The music will start around 6 o'clock, so come on out and have a good night on July 4th. Thank you.
Okay, so nobody else has signed up. Eileen, go ahead. I know, I'm sorry.
Good news, 2 times to talk tonight. Let me see. First of all, I'd like to say that I strongly support increasing the amount of money for the sanitation people. I have DeLuca Sanitation, I guess, for close to 50 years, I'm assuming. They're a great group. They're very accommodating. They pick up my garbage twice a week. They're great guys. They deserve a raise. The other thing is building security. In light of what happened today, I would like to talk about building security. And also a book written by a gentleman by the name of Bill O'Reilly. His #1 bestseller is Killing the Killers, which I am in the process of reading. It is more than a book, it's a history. It's a history of all the terrorist attacks that have occurred over a period of time. And that brings us to the one that we had today down in Texas. About a number of years ago, there was a flood, a hurricane here in Orangetown. And there was a town board meeting going on at that time. And I was sitting in my usual seat, I guess, and at that time, a gentleman came storming into this building, came down the aisle here, and was enraged that his house was flooding. That same night, a fireman from Pearl River passed away. So, Mr. Patara, you must have been in the police department at that time. I almost hit the deck because I said, oh my God, what is it going to do to the board members? So I'm concerned about the security when we have hot items going on. The people today are very angry about one, maybe a minute thing, but could set them off and do something terrible. So I'm wondering about, I know tonight I saw the chief outside in the hallway, which is great, but I guess I'm concerned that when everybody just walks into this building and there's no kind of screening. I think in the courthouse you might have had a metal detector system. I don't know if that's still there or not. Maybe it is. But in this room, it's not, doesn't exist. So I guess what I'm saying to you is that we should look into making sure that if we don't have the security at the door, at least we have a police presence at all times in this building, because I don't know. I mean, I'll never forget that night because I really almost fell on the floor. I was scared. I said, this man is so angry because he's been complaining about flooding in his house, and it was a terrible night. And I just, that image of that man running down the aisle here, I've never forgotten. And, but anyway, I think too, the flooding that Mr. Shea brought up, this is a great town to live in, but we're really beginning to see issues that are affecting the quality of life of people. I'm very fortunate where I live. I do have an underground spring in my house. It used to be a swimming hole before they built my house in Palisades, and that's confirmed. But anyway, do the right thing for everybody in Orangetown. That's all I ask. Not for the Johnny-come-latelys.
Thanks. It does raise a good question, though, with the new town hall. I know we're going to have kind of locked doors and fobs, but I mean, as far as the town board meeting, are we? No, I'm asking Jane, in the new town hall, if there's like some glass that could come up, I don't know, we'll have to look at it, but
No, I don't think that was in the budget.
that was in the budget.
Put it in there.
No, obviously, there is security levels.
Buttons that I could like zip down into a thing or something? Okay, anyway. You know, I have to,
Well, in light of what has happened, we can definitely look at that again.
yeah, okay. Okay, I think we're on number 9, right? Oh, God, didn't I? Good God, we're all over the place tonight. Moved, somebody moved. Somebody seconded.
Who did?
Jerry moved, I don't know who seconded.
Second.
Brian seconded, all in favor? Aye, okay. Yeah, exactly, well, that's part, I think it's due to COVID. I think it's since COVID, everyone started ordering everything online. The trucks are everywhere. Okay. Okay, so number 9, approve on the recommendation of Director of Finance, the project graduation funding in the amount reflected there. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Brian Donahue, second. Everybody all in favor? Number 10, award a bid to Atlas ATC Engineering to do testing inspection services for the new town hall addition. Motion? Jerry Vitari, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 11, approval of 2022 certificate of sewer registrations. Motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
I'll second that, Trish.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Declare surplus vehicles from the police department. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Hold on, second. Jerry Vitari, all in favor?
Aye.
There is a lot of flood damage. Where do these things get all
They're all
flooded
flood
from?
damage.
That was from Hurricane Ida. They were in the shop.
Oh, they're in the shop.
Okay.
They were actually not, like, they were going to be surplus anyways.
Oh, okay, well, we sealed the deal, I guess. Okay, accept funding from Rockland County for the Stop DWI program in the amount of $5,000. Jerry Vitari, second.
I'll second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Create the position of supervisor electrical in DEME at a grade 19. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine, second.
I'll second.
Jerry, Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Award the bid for the general contract, Tier 4 pumping station improvements to Fred Devine's Construction. Motion? Jerry Vitari, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Award the bid for the electrical contract for the tier pump, something to Fanshawe Inc.
Moved.
Tom Divany moves, second.
I'll second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we're going to make a motion to combine agenda items 18 to 21. Motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany,
I'll second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow, I like that little trick. Number 22, accept, receive, and file documents of the town clerk's office as identified below. Motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second. Jerry Vitale, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The audit for tonight's meeting consists of 3 warrants for a total of $1.9 million. The first warrant had 68 vouchers for $421,000. Items of interest, number 2, De Lage Landon, $15,000 for the golf cart leases. Number 3, JP Morgan Equipment Finance, $53,000 for the energy performance contract. Number 4, NIPA, $21,000 for the streetlight project. The second warrant had 7 vouchers for $7,000 and was for Memorial Day services, contributions for their ceremonies. The third warrant had 211 vouchers for $1.5 million. Items of interest, number 6, Capasso, $80,000 for recycling. Number 7, the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $32,000 for dental insurance. Number 8, Global Metallo, $44,000 for fuel. Number 10, Hudson Valley Engineering, $25,000 for the North Middletown Road Project. Number 15, Department of Civil Service, $879,000 for healthcare benefits. Number 16, Seal Coat USA, $49,000 for highway paving. And number 22, Verde Electric, $151,000 for traffic signal replacements. That's from the 2020 bond. Any questions on the audit?
Nope.
No, motion to accept the audit?
Motion.
Tom Divany, second. I mean, first. Made the motion, who you second?
I'll second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
So I don't think we need, anybody have any executive session, no? Brian, did you want to ask your question of the town attorney about the smoke shops?
Well, so I just been getting a lot of questions about the smoke shop that's appeared in Pearl River on Middletown Road, and from my understanding, there's another one that's opening. I've just been getting a lot of concerned questions, and, I don't know if we can talk about maybe keeping.
Well, we could have the town attorney's office take a look at the code. It is, we did bring it up in the comp plan, because this is part of the issue, these new uses, that is going to be looked at. I mean, clearly, anyone who's there, we can't stop, but, I mean, I guess we might want to look at it for future before they pop up all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it is, if you recall, this town opted out of the retail sales and the lounges, if you will, for marijuana. The smoke shops are permitted right now by the code and as, retail sales establishment, but,
I know. I think
there could be
Brian's talking
certain
about maybe doing something where you can't
conditions.
put 30 feet from a.
Right, there's something like that could be looked into.
Okay. That was a good idea, Brian. That was a really good idea.
Put a hand in the back.
There's a lot of them.
Smoke shops, I know, they're all, I didn't realize it
Pearl
until I
River and
saw
Orangeburg.
Lawveld everywhere, they're all over.
Lowville.
They're all over. Okay, so I don't think we need to go into executive session unless anybody has anything. Okay, so then on that, we are going to be adjourning, and in memory of Charles Hoffman, a resident of Lawveld and lifetime member of the Orangeburg Volunteer Fire Department, and past chief from 1964 to 1966, and Jeremiah McAuliffe, a resident of Lawveld, former longtime resident of Pearl River. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion, Teresa.
Okay, Brian moved, Tom second, all in favor?
Aye. If you hit that, you're not coming back?
Definitely not. I didn't even know it was there.